Okay, so what would you say to somebody, you got to find your own way in this. Like there's some elements like you talked about that are very practical.
For sure.
But what would you say to somebody who is like, it's taking so long to grow my brand, like to grow my project, company, whatever. What would you say? Because I see you guys, I mean, you were here when Glory Church started. And I know it's been a process. I see your face changing. So I know it has really been a process. Like, and you've had to endure that. What would you say to like a creative who is jumping in and they feel like, I don't know, this is a lot. Like, I feel like I'm struggling. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah. So...
Yeah, give us some wisdom. What would you, or you can even tell us about your experience with it,
So my wife and I have talked about this a lot in the sense of people aren't engaging, or I would spend hours upon like writing a book or designing something, and then only like, let's say 60 people purchase it. And I'm like, okay, that's great, but I'm only making X money, whereas like I spent so much time on this.
Right. And
like,
maybe money on it too.
Yeah, and money.
Yeah.
And so like, where's the justification in that? And so it's definitely a question of like, is this a side gig? I mean, that was a side gig and it was a passion of mine versus like, I mean, if you keep like hitting, I don't know, in the red every month. I mean, that's
true.
That's that's a different question, and that's a harder like thing. And sometimes the grind is more hurtful than helpful. But if you are making ends meet and you just haven't hit that goal that you've been wanting, because you have a big vision for your company or big vision for your brand, and it's just not happening. It's not taking off like you thought it would, but it's still going, but it's not taking off.
And it's not hurting you.
Right.
Yeah.
Then I would like, there's a part of resting that is really good. Celebrating the 100, even though you want 1,000.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Like celebrating, like how can you tend the 100? Because odds are that those 100 would be the best bet to getting you to the 1,000.
Yeah.
Whether you like start like, how can I make sure that they are cared for?
Right. Right.
So a company, or let's say a bakery, since we brought up that, like the people who are our go-to people, how can we like celebrate them when they come in?
Right.
Now your brand is like even greater because these are the people who are constantly in your restaurant.
Right.
So how can you celebrate, or is there the whole card that they can get if they punch, a certain amount, but
right.
Or more so, can we name a baked good off of them? And now they're going to have other people go get the Bridget because it's named after.
Because I'm Bridget.
But then it's like, this place actually, like, I don't go there very often. I didn't even know they noticed me, but they did. And so things like that, like, how can you, just changing the way you think.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to get that 101 person to come, why don't you celebrate number 99?
Yeah.
And like, that's
I love that, because I think what I'm hearing you say is like, get unfocused off, if that's a word, unfocused off the numbers and focused on the people.
Yeah.
Because like every brand is encountering people. And I think our society, if I might be ever so honest and just transparent, has really become focused on hitting numbers because it's status. I have 10,000 followers. Look at me. I'm great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like, you don't have 10,000 followers. Why would I ever trust you? And there's a certain validity, I would say, to the numbers, right?
Yeah.
Certain opportunities get, presented to you when you have 100,000 followers or whatever. But the reality is at the end of the day, you are serving people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you can't really look to them and treat them well, why would more want to come?
Yep. And it's even harder, like, the way that social media works without the algorithm and everything.
Yeah,
and so
that's very
algorithm
true.
Changes really hurt small businesses.
Yeah.
I mean, the most recent ones have been really damaging to people with a even more spiritual cause, like legitimately.
There's like legitimate things. Yeah.
Yes.
I hear you.
And so we've seen immense shutdown on like Declare Glory even. We used to have, there was this like, if you have 6% of your people engaging on average, and that's a good thing, Have you ever heard that rule?
No, I have not.
Yeah. So back in the day, maybe
back in the day, 6 months ago,
4 years ago,
4 years ago. Okay.
4 years ago, it was like if you have 6% of the people who follow you engaging on a daily basis or weekly basis, then it's good. Like that's good. We used to have like 15%.
Wow, that's
like,
a lot.
A lot of people, and we're getting like 100 new followers a week.
Oh,
and
wow.
I was messaging 100 people every week. It was so much. But that was in the days when I was like really hitting it. But as we started backing off, especially when we moved here to KC, like I took a back seat for like the push, the grind of that. And so you could see the suffering of it. The engagement started lowering down. The algorithm kicked us to the side. And so those seasons of rest are also really hard because now you have to like work.
Some things look like they decline.
Yeah. But at the same time, we still have those people who hit amen, like they comment amen every day. Yeah. And so being able to like just message them like, thank you so much for that. I just did that today to someone who they've only come to Glory Church twice, but have liked or commented on almost everything we posted over on Facebook. That's wild. I just messaged them this morning. Like, I am so thankful. I'm so encouraged every single time I see that you like something. Wow. And so I invited them to Easter. And so like, it's that whole principle of let me care for the people who we are reaching. Yeah. And be relational. Yeah, and we always say here, like, don't ever take the social out of social media. Yeah. Because I think a lot of people do, and they just push their media, and they don't ever like actually like sit down and add value. Yeah. Say, hey, how are you? Like, and that's really, so one tip that I noticed on the algorithm, just speaking to that really quickly, is that when you actually like socialize on social media at a good time, your stuff gets pushed to the top. I know. Isn't it a bummer? I mean, like, because we should be social, and I want to be social on Instagram. Yeah, but that's the hardest part of like, so like your brand is you. Yeah, well, Martay Music is, for sure. So Martay Music is you. It was so hard to get into the mindset of like being social as a company or Declare Glory. Or because then like, how do I properly respond to other people's personal things, right? As like a company, or even that's really hard too, because you have people like sharing like personal issues or the family of their kids, and Declare Glory just like you would comment as a person. And I could have my own views, and that would be fine. But Declare Glory, if I said that's so cute, would they be like, why didn't like is this weird? Is this a man speaking, or like? So all of those are really hard to engage, and so I've really struggled to figure out how you engage too, because you also have to be careful. If you engage with only like other people who are like you, right, then that's all you're going to see on your media, and that's probably all who's going to see you. And so it's just hard. That's an interesting, that's a brain twister. That's really interesting. Yeah, so I don't know how you do it if you are. Yeah, if you know how Greg should do it, send him an email. A restaurant. Ooh, that looks good. I love seeing brands like engage, because I'm always like, I wonder who's like really behind it. Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah.